Okay, in this video we're looking at estimating roots or estimating surds. Now surd is just something where you have got a square root sign, and here you've got what is the square root of 32, which means what number times by itself makes 32. Now the issue with this is there is no whole number that you can times by itself to make 32. You're going to get a decimal answer, which we can confirm on a calculator. So if we go and type in the root of 32 and press equals and then get it into a decimal format, you can see we get this, right? 5.65685, it's non-terminating. It just keeps going on and on, okay? But approximately, if I round it to kind of 2 decimal places, we're going to get 5.66. Okay, so the square root of 32 is approximately equal to, and this means approximately equal to 5.66. Okay, so if we times 5.66 by itself, okay, you're approximately going to get an answer of 32. Not exactly, because we've rounded a little bit early here. But the question is, right, without a calculator, how would you get to this answer? How could you estimate this without a calculator? Okay, because we know, for example, certain square roots, like the square root of 25, is going to give you a whole number, because root 25 is equal to 5, because 5 times 5 gives you 25. Note also that you could actually have here, you could have positive 5, as you've seen down here, but it could also be equal to negative 5. Because similarly, if you go and do negative 5 and you times it by negative 5, if you multiply two negatives, you also get a positive answer. But in the sake of this video, we're just looking at the positive numbers, okay? Because really at GCSE, unless they ask you for a negative solution, we're just focused on the positives, okay? But just important to note that there is a negative answer here as well, okay? Now, let's look at how you'd actually estimate the square root of 32. So here we've got the square root of 25 and the square root of 36, which are between the square root of 32. Okay, now we know that the square root of 25 is equal to 5, because just to make sure, we know that 5 times 5 it gives you an answer of 25. And similarly, if we go and do 6 times 6, we get an answer equal to 36. Now, because root 32 is closer to root 36 than it is root 25, well, we can say that, well, first of all, that in between 5 and 6, in the middle, okay, it's going to be 5.5. Now, root 32 is only 4 away from root 36, but it's 7 away from root 25, so it's definitely closer to root 36. So I would say that root 32, approximately, right, because it's only an estimation, we can say it's going to be at around 5.7. Okay, so we can go and say that root 32 is going to be approximately equal to 5.7. But look, if you put 5.8 or 5.6, probably that's a good estimation also. Okay, if you said it was equal to 5.99, well, that's not so good, because you're getting too close to root 36. But because we're kind of close to root 36 but not really close, 5.7 seems sensible, but it is an estimation, so you could put, your answer will vary slightly. So we can say we can estimate the square root of 32 to be approximately equal to 5.7, okay? But if you put 5.6 or 5.8, that could also be absolutely fine, okay? So that is the estimation. And just so that we're really clear on this, this sign here, okay, this means approximately. Approximately. Okay. And again, we can check with our calculator, is that a pretty good estimation? Yeah, I've said 5.7. If you round it to 1 dp, 5.7 is what we get. Okay, so we can use our number line here to help us get to what we need to get to. Now this one here, we've got the square root of 8. We want to estimate the answer of this. Okay, and again, on our number line, right, we've got the square root of 4 and the square root of 9. Okay, and then we've got the square root of 8, which is really, really close to the square root of 9. So if we know that in between 2 and 3, we're going to have an answer of 2.5. Again, the square root of 4 being 2, the square root of 9 being 3. 3 times 3 is 9, 2 times 2 is 4. Well, the square root of 8 is only 1 off from the square root of 9, so it's going to be somewhere up here. Okay, so I would say, look, root 8 is kind of a bit more left than I would have liked it to be, but it's going to be probably around about here, very close to root 9. It's only 1 off. So we're going to say probably about equal to 2.9. So I would say that the square root of 8 is going to be approximately equal to 2.9. And that is my answer for this one. Okay, and again, just so we can see on our calculator, is that going to be a roughly a good answer? Let's have a look. The square root of 8 as a decimal is 2.828. So yeah, not too bad. Okay, probably 2.8 would have been a better estimation, but that's fine. Okay, so in other words, we can also say if you're going to do 2.9 and you times it by 2.9, that's approximately equal to 8. Okay, that's what we mean by the square root. Okay, definitely not exactly, because I've rounded really early here. Okay, so just on my turn, your turn, and that's going to be it for this video. So I'll leave them both up there because maybe you're confident to give these both a go yourself now, but let's look at the first one. So the first one is saying, what is the square root of 18? Now the first thing to do is get our number line out, okay, and establish what two square roots will be next to root 18. Now we know that the square root of 16 is equal to 4, because 4 times 4 is 16, and that's the one below root 18, which must mean, so you've got 4 times 4, and then you've got 5 times 5, which is going to give you the square roots of 25. Now in the middle, between 4 and 5, it's going to be 4.5. Now root 18, is it closer to root 16 or root 25? Well, it's definitely going to be closer to root 16. So it's going to be somewhere probably, look, if this is root 16, that's root 25. There's 9 in between them. Roughly in the middle, it's going to be root 20. Root 18 is going to be about here. Okay, so root 18 is going to be about here. So because we're just estimating, depending on how you do it, it might change slightly, but probably I would say 4.2 or 4.3. I'm going to go for 4.2. Sounds good to me. So I'm going to say that the square root of 18 is approximately equal to 4.2, but you could also put something like 4.3. That's going to be okay. Yeah, that's absolutely fine. So this here is my answer. Now, good. And again, we can check it on the calculator. Is that a pretty good estimate? Let's have a look. So the square root of 18 as a decimal is 4.24. So yeah, there you go. I would say between those two values there is pretty good. Okay, so that's our answer. And in other words, just so we're really clear here of what is happening, we can say that if we go and do 4.2 times 4.2, it's approximately equal to 18. That's what we're saying, okay, with the square root. Okay, so now your turn. That is saying estimate the square root of 71. Now again with this one, sorry, I don't know why my phone's going off. Right, that's turn it off. It should be on silent, but it's there we go. Okay, good. Root 71. So again, number line. What's below root 71? What's above root 71? So I know that the square root of 64 is going to give you 8, and then 9 times 9 is 81. So it's going to be the root 81 up here. And in between 8 and 9 is going to give you 8.5. Now the root of 71, is that closer to root 64 or root 81? Well, it's 7 away from root 71, and it's 10 away from root 81. So it's going to be approximately over here somewhere, right? And it's quite far from root 64, because we know, right, between root 64 and root 81, just kind of doing this kind of roughly, there's a difference of 17. So kind of half of 17 is 8.5. So right, we're going to say 8. 8 and 64 is going to give you 72. So that would roughly be root 72 in the middle. So it's going to be pretty close to the 8.5 value. So I'm going to go and say that root 71 for me is going to be approximately equal to 8.4. Okay, so I'm going to go and say that root 71 is approximately equal to 8.4. Okay, but you probably could have 8.3, 8.45, anything like that is going to be okay. And this is my answer. And again, we can just kind of confirm that this makes it's a good estimate by putting it into the calculator. If we say that the root of 71, enter it, decimal 8.426. So there you go. That's a pretty good estimate. Of course, it isn't exact, but it's a good estimation. Okay, so that is it for estimating roots or estimating surds. Hopefully that was useful. Thank you.